One time for the city. Yeah, same aura as before. The smoke got blowing.
All right, here we go. Salute to NBA and Knicks Nation. This is a Knicks Fan TV and NBA Report simulcast. CP the franchise in the building. We got to talk about this breaking news that just dropped on the NBA News Wire. You know, Knicks fans yesterday told me, CP, we got to investigate. Giannis scrubbed his social media, his Instagram. We got to do a social media investigation. And I shrugged it off. But as of today, it was announced that Giannis and his agent, according to Shams of ESPN, Giannis and his agent are meeting with the Bucks to discuss his future, and it seems like it is inevitable that the Greek Freak is leaving Milwaukee. The question is, where will he go? And so today, joining me today is our resident capologist. You can find him on the Third Apron newsletter on Substack as well as Twitter. He's doing a damn thing. Rising star in the game, Yossi Goslin in the building. Let's get right into it. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Number one show for the fans by the fans. And once again, this is an NBA Report Knicks Fan TV simulcast. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Yossi, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. Really feels like December now. We're getting all these murmurs about who wants to go where, and this is the big one.
This is
Will it amount to anything? I don't know.
It was only a matter of time. Like, everybody knew the writing was on the wall here. I did find it interesting that he waited 20 games in to kind of, see where things were, as if miracles were going to happen with this team. I mean, you're not going to know where your team ultimately ends until the end of it, but this is where we are, man. So let's start with the Knicks, because this is the team where earlier reports this summer was that this is the only team that he wants to go to, and this is a Knicks fan-heavy podcast. So let's talk about what this scenario may look like for the Knicks, even given that they're on the outside looking in.
Yeah, so we also texted a little privately about like how it could have been in the offseason. It would have been much easier in the offseason because there's no roster restrictions. They can take back now teams have to not exceed 15 players, which could make things a little difficult. In the offseason, you can go above that. You could have signed and traded players to help make money match. So now it's a little trickier. Plus, the Knicks are hard capped as second apron. So essentially, they can't increase the money when they do a trade. They got to most likely take back a little less because they're going to stack players, and then you got to replace the roster spot. You can't go under 14 for a while longer. But the biggest thing, like those things can be taken care of. The bigger impediment, I guess, for the Knicks is how do they make a sufficient deal for the Bucks? Because I feel like the window to trade for Giannis for the Knicks kind of passed when they traded all their picks for Mikal Bridges. So if you're weighing, all your picks plus Randall and DiVincenzo for Cat and Mikal Bridges versus all that stuff for Giannis, I think it's pretty debatable which side you feel. I think there's pros and cons for both. I think it's going to be really hard, though, at this point, because if you're going to trade like two starters for Giannis, how do you replace the other guy? Are you really going to get better? I don't think this team is all that well equipped for Giannis if they end up trading one of OG or one of Mikal Bridges. I think they need to surround Giannis with those two types of guys. So if the primary player you're sending out is Cat, and then you don't have any picks to trade, you can trade maybe some pick swaps. I don't think really, other than McBride, any guy making one of the lowest paid players, I don't think they really have that much value. I don't think they're increasing the offer. I'm not sure how you're getting a deal done, and also, trying not to diminish too much of what you've got going on.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing for the Bucks, right? Because from a salary standpoint, or tricky things for the Knicks, rather, because from a salary standpoint, you're talking about, okay, quote unquote, a Cat-focused trade where it's basically, 1-for-1 with fillers on the side, right? Like, is Milwaukee really going to bite on that? I mean, John Horst, the GM of the Bucks, he just watched Nico Harrison get his head chopped off on the way out of Dallas, all right? So if he's going to do this move and really want to help the Greek Freak out, you can pretty much sign, seal, and deliver his job, put his job on the chopping block. So we're talking about Giannis here. Now, if it's not Cat, what other combination of salary? Let's just say, again, for argument's sake, 1-for-1, quote-unquote, Knicks with Bucks. What other salary combination would the Knicks be looking at here?
Yeah, so Towns is obviously the easiest because he makes basically the same amount of money as Giannis. But if then after that, assuming Brunson's off the table, you want to go down to OG. He's then the second highest paid player, making at just under 40 million. So then if you pair him with at least maybe Mitchell Robinson, you're almost there at Giannis's 54 million. Maybe there's something to do. Like if you're gonna start getting into OG, two things. One, maybe there's a way you can also get back Miles Turner. I'm just, I'm grasping at straws here, but
Yeah,
like if you're gonna trade one of your top wings and bring in Giannis, who's not a shooter, okay, like if you could bring in Miles Turner, who's pretty much the one of the best centers you could pair with Giannis, that might make the trade-off a little better for the Knicks. I think though, realistically, they have to trade at least one of OG or Mikal Bridges. I think especially OG has more trade value
sure.
on the Knicks than Cat, not just because of better contract, but I think more teams around the league could use OG than can use Cat. So, for example, if the Bucks bring in OG, okay, maybe they don't necessarily want to keep him, but they could probably flip him for like three, four first round picks. I think that might be out there if you saw what the Knicks paid out to get in Bridges. The Magic just paid out to bring in Bane, different type of player. But like there is a market for these types of non-all stars. So that might be where realistically for the Bucks, just to get the ball rolling, I think they're gonna want OGs to at least be able to loop in a
Flip.
third team who might be willing to give up maybe extra draft picks, young players that could better fit the Bucks situation or whatever it is they're trying to do. Because also they don't really have the control of their draft picks after this year. They owe picks in 27 and 29. They owe swaps in 28 and 2030. So maybe they're trying to stay good also. So it's going to be really difficult just for the Bucks to even like get proper value and just kind of figure out what it is they want to do. It's probably a big mess right now for them.
Big mess. And as you said, their best case scenarios is trying to get OG in here. Maybe you get a third team involved. You can flip OG for a number of picks. We just saw Mikal Bridges and Desmond Bane go for about 5 picks plus swap combination. So maybe that is a preferred route because if the Bucks are going to go rebuilding, they have no draft capital, as you said, and they're going to want some sort of combination of draft capital and a young player. So, let's say, again, argument's sake, I mean, where's OG's at what, 30? He's at 40 something? Where's he at right now?
OG makes just under 40 million.
40. So
Like
you
39,
right.
39 and some change.
So you're talking about like an OG Mitch type of situation, just salary wise. We're not talking about, we're not talking about player, stats here. We're talking about salary wise.
Yeah, salary wise, there's ways for the Knicks to get it done. Yeah. And the other thing though that's really important to and one of these things we could kind of get into. There's like the extension things, but I think more importantly is right now, this is the last year before Mikal Bridges has that extension kicking in. So right now he's making 24.9 million. Next year it's going to jump up to like 35, 36 million. The Knicks are going to be over the second apron starting next year, and once they are, they cannot aggregate contracts. They're not going to be able to stack contracts to trade for a player like Giannis. So even if they wouldn't be able to do the trade at all unless they save a bunch of money first, get below the second apron. So they wouldn't even be able to do CAD and just one more salary to make the money work because second apron teams cannot stack contracts. So the Knicks, in a way, if they do really want Giannis, are going to be kind of under pressure to get a deal done sooner than later because it's only going to get harder for them to do something. If you can get a deal done for Giannis now, then you have a better chance at getting putting together a deeper roster next year. They wouldn't be hard capped to the second apron next year if they get the trade done now. So they'll spend as much money as they need to make the roster as deep as possible. So that's just the other element of this. Maybe internally the Knicks feel like they need to bring him in. In that case, they might end up trading more value than they might feel comfortable with. But yeah, time is kind of in the essence here if the Knicks want Giannis.
Wow. So we're talking about basically between now and before the league year starts next year, right? So now the league start date, is that before or after the draft? Just remind me that. The new year, like 26, 27. Would that before or after the draft?
So technically, it's July 1st when the new league year kicks in. However, they made it where you can't, like, let's say it's like June, you're still in this year's salary cap and you want to do that type of trade that would, then trigger the hard cap. They added loopholes for that. They can't just do that in June. Okay, cat and one minimum salary. Okay, we did it right before the new league year rolled in. No, then that will actually hard cap them the following year. They made it really complicated where like they prevented all these loopholes, so teams can't just like do certain trades right before the new league year kicks in. So it's basically between now and the trade deadline would be the best time for the Knicks to get Giannis. After that, it's gonna be tough because like they could figure out a way to get Giannis, but then they're going to be hard capped at second apron. It's going to be really tough to put a deeper bench while then having this, you can't spend more than like 215 million or so. Like that's not that much money when you want to have two max guys.
215,000. 200. Oh, wait, 200 million.
Million.
Okay, gotcha.
If you're paying Giannis like 54, you're paying Jalen 37, Bridges 35. Got Hardy, got Mitchell. Like it's gonna be, you won't be able to keep all those guys within the second apron. So now would be the best time between now and the trade deadline to get Giannis.
Now, what about the Knicks picks right now? Obviously, they gave up a ton for Mikal Bridges. They will have this summer's first round pick, which they can't trade right now, right? Because they already gave up last year's for Bridges, right? You can't trade consecutive picks based on the Stepien rule. But then when the new league year starts, they would have the 2030 pick available for trade. So to talk about that a little bit in terms of, first round capital that the Knicks may be able to part with, now and maybe after the league year ends.
So I just pulled it up. I'm looking at it. So they're out 27, 29, and 31. Because they traded those picks, they can't trade the picks in the even numbered years in between. That's a Stepien rule. However, they could right now trade swaps in those even numbered years. The only swap that they have outgoing in the Mikal Bridges trade, they traded a 2028 first round pick swap to the Nets. So they could trade their 26, 30, and 32 as swaps right now. So there might be some value in that. I don't know how valuable that might be.
Yeah.
But the Knicks could offer that in place of a first round pick. Once you get to the offseason, they'll be able to trade their 2026 first round pick as it is. And then they'll be able to unlock their 2033 first round pick.
33.
So that's
33.
first. Yeah. So they'd be able to trade 2 first round picks in the offseason. And they could still trade like 2-3 swaps. So the package, the value like goes up substantially if you're the Bucks. Like you'd want to wait if Giannis only wants to go to the Knicks and that scares other teams from trading for him, then the Bucks probably want to wait until the offseason when the Knicks could trade two picks. So yeah, it's really tough. I don't know exactly how this is going to resolve. Like, I figured now they're going to try to get Giannis to open up his teams. Hopefully he'll be open to go into some other teams like, I don't know, the Spurs or the Hawks or
maybe
Warriors.
the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how much the Bucks value Reeves. Maybe LeBron gets involved, not to the Bucks, but to a third team. So I don't know. Right now, I still need to look into it. I'm probably going to do my own show on this tonight, really look into the market. I think Giannis just... He kind of messed it up for himself. Like if he really wanted to get traded, I think he should have opened up his trade suitors last offseason and gotten moved. I don't see why the Bucks would want to trade him anywhere right now. Like the Knicks, forget about the Knicks, like what their limitations are. Like I don't really see a haul like that type of 3-4 first round pick package plus an all-star or some good young player. I don't really see that out there for the Bucks right now. I think they waited too long to trade Giannis. I think they've waited like too many years, to be honest. But now it's for Giannis to like potentially, he committed, I suppose, to the year, and now he's kind of waffling. Now he wants to get traded.
It's
now.
a weird timing. Weird timing.
It's gonna. I right now, my guts tell me that it probably doesn't happen. That the offers are just not gonna be strong enough for the Bucks to make it worthwhile, and I think they most likely trade him in the offseason.
Wow, this is very interesting. Now, let's go back to the Knicks picks. And once again, this is emergency live stream, Knicks Fan TV, NBA Report simulcast. Salute to everybody watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, X. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this video in your group chat, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Reddit, wherever you guys do your social medias. Email your grandma. Let her know. We're trying to figure out how to get the Greek Freak to New York without giving up too much. I can't lose OG, man. I'm still waiting for him to come back from the hamstring. I can't lose the dog. And that's my thing. It's like,
I'm with you.
My thing on the whole Giannis thing is like, all right, the player aside, MVP caliber, if you're going to have to give up a number of your depth pieces, then what are you left with between this year, next year, and beyond? Giannis can't cover SGA, J-Dub, and Chet all at one time. We need help.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think OG is too important. And I think having OG and Bridges on the contracts they're at is too valuable. And like I said earlier, I think those are the type of guys you need to surround Giannis with. So if you can somehow just get it done with Towns and you can trade Hard and Mitch, get them involved, if that's what it takes. As long as you've got that top four with Brunson, I think that's the goal. It's improbable. I wouldn't expect it, but I don't think I'd do it any other way. I think I'd rather just roll with what the Knicks have right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
it's unreal. People in the chat said, CP, that's a worst take. Well, again, man, I've lived through the Melo trade. I've lived through all these things. On paper, it sounds hot that you get a guy, but you still need to go out there and win with depth. Yeah. And a guy that does get hurt every now and again. Let's not put that out. He's got a lot of mileage as well. He's a great player, MVP caliber player, but he can't do it all by himself. He can't do it all by himself.
And the Knicks depth outside their top five, I think they kind of found something with their top 8 through 9 guys, as long as everyone's playing. But the margin for error now with their bench is so low.
It's low.
Where one injury. Shamet already got hurt, but another big injury that could really derail things. So it's really tough. That I think the Knicks I think they're still working on trying to really optimize what they've got going on. I'm pretty optimistic they'll make it work with Mike Brown. I'm curious though what they feel internally now. I know they've kind of they're on not a rough stretch, but they've lost a couple recently. Yeah. Do they still feel like this team is good enough? And if not, do they feel pressure to make this swing?
I'll say this, from the people I talk to, they have been talking for a while now. Leon is staying on this. He wants him. The question is, can he land it with a Hail Mary? That's it. If the Bucks say yes, they're going to get him. But the question is, here's the big question. Look at the Kawhi Leonard trade to the Raptors a couple years ago. They traded for him without a promise that he was going to sign. He ends up going to the Clippers, but he got the job done. He was a rental, and they got him, and he delivered a championship. So what's to say? Remember, Giannis, he's got this year and next year left. So what's to say a team out there can't offer even a better package than the Knicks, even on a rental?
Yeah. And
wouldn't mind doing that. Go ahead.
Can I share a trade that I just saw? Oh, I can't share my screen.
Okay.
This is by this Twitter account, NBA Trade Report. I saw someone repost it. What if basically it's a 3-team trade where the Knicks get Giannis, but they're sending out Cat and OG, but the Suns are involved. They're getting Cat. And I'm not gonna say the full details, but the gist of it from the Knicks' perspective is that they're trading Cat and OG, and they're bringing back Giannis, Dylan Brooks, and Grayson Allen. What do you think of something like that? If it takes trading OG and Cat, but you're bringing back another defensive-minded starter player. Okay, he's not as good as OG, but right now Dylan Brooks is killing it. What do you think of some type of framework like that?
Yeah, you got to do it.
Okay.
You got to do it. I
think I would probably do that.
You got to
too.
do that.
Yeah.
You got to do that. Okay,
Yeah.
if you tell me something like that, we need defense. We need defense here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like again, if you're gonna bring in Giannis here and you're taking away from your 3-point arsenal, you need some shooters in here as well. And so we can get a little bit gritty with Dylan the Villain and bring in Grayson Allen, dirty player, but I'm sure we'd love him here in New York. But if you're telling me that I'm bringing in more defense and I'm bringing in some 3-point shooting, I can live with that. I can live with that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're getting way better just by going from Cat to Giannis. And then, you can even argue maybe Dylan Brooks is a little better defensively than OG. I think it's like if you really want to dissect it, but I think they're like in a pretty similar tier. So at least you're replacing OG's defense in that deal. And then, okay, Grayson, more of a bad contract, but I know he's been shooting really well. I mean, he's kind of like one of those shooters who he kind of goes like, he like kind of his percentage will flip flop. 1 year shooting really well, the next year it completely disappears. But if he's playing at this level, then that would be a major addition for the Knicks. So I just bring up this framework. I think that just kind of makes a lot of sense.
That would make sense.
Okay. Yeah. If you have to trade OG, can you bring in a high level defender? Then I think it makes it a lot more palatable. Yeah.
I can stomach that. Like I said, man, they'll get, if they can get them, they'll get them. It's just a matter of can they do this? Anything's possible in the NBA. We saw the Luka thing go down like that. Giannis holds the cards, man. If he puts a gun to these guys' heads and say, "Hey, listen, it's New York." Again, I'd be interested to see, like, does San Antonio offer a rental package? Do the Lakers offer a rental package? Does Detroit? That would be dangerous. That would be dangerous. If Detroit goes in there and offers a significant rental package, if Trajan Langdon puts a couple pieces in the middle for rental, remember, Masai did it. He rolled the dice for Kawhi, and it paid off. I'm a little bit leery about that. I think that could happen by the deadline.
I'm super curious to know just how much Giannis can control this, because he's got this year and then he's got 2 years left on his contract, but really only one. Then he has that player option, so he can opt out after next season. Like, I kind of think if he's really adamant about going to the Knicks, then I would guess that no team is going to offer something more than like what you're suggesting, like a rental package. Okay, what are some things we can like the Kawhi type package from when Toronto traded DeRozan, Pirtle, and won first, like something that a team could just a couple parts that it is a value, but we could afford to lose it and make a short-term run. That might, like if that, I think that could really, like, he could really control his market in that sense. That could really, and in that case, it could really play into the Knicks' favor. So we'll see. It does seem like the longer he remains with the Bucks, the more likely he'll be a Knick eventually, one way or another, whether it's by trade or free agency. It'll be tough. It'll probably have to be trade because the Knicks are just not going to be able to.
They won't have the money.
They won't have the cap space.
They won't have the bread. Stephen Bondi of the New York Post dropped a Cat article last night. They didn't come to the agreement, even though the window was, I think it was October 20th, so it was a while ago. Did you read anything into that, into the Knicks and Towns not coming to an agreement? Does that play into any of this as it relates to a potential trade with the Bucks and, salary cap implications?
I would just imagine that it's just very tough for players with multiple years on their contract to extend. The rules generally, you can only extend during the offseason. So now Cat cannot extend in the middle of the season. So it's rare for players with like more than 1 year left under contract to extend, because on the team side, they got to really be confident that we're putting a value on you 2-3 years from now. Like, we're going to be confident that you're going to produce at this level, that we're going to pay you in advance. It's really tough, and it's pretty risky for players that are getting older. Cat just finished his 10th year. So, and now he's making like 50 million plus a year. His max extension amount exceeds 65 million a year. So I'm sure there's like a big difference in terms of what each side wants. If I'm the Knicks, I would probably, if I'm going to get him to extend early, I'd probably want to lock him into something around to what he's making now at the highest end. Um, and maybe he wants to just play things out and see if he can get a little more. So I don't think it's totally, I wouldn't say they're related. Um, but it is worth just mentioning, yeah, if he did extend in the offseason, he probably, if he extended early enough, he would be trade eligible by now for a potential Giannis trade or whatever trade. But I think that's just more so about trying to figure out a number that makes sense.
Copy that. One more question, then we're going to take calls. Call us up on the KFTV Discord. Knicks versus Hornets tonight at the Garden. Knicks looking to bounce back after getting scrubbed out in Boston. And now we're talking trades. You know, it's that time of year for Knicks Nation. We never not talking trades, no matter where this team is. It's just very, very interesting. Now,
Tis the season.
Tis the season. Now, we talked about the 26 pick, and we talked about they have the 33 pick. So now, in relation to the league year, right? Would they have to make the pick to be able to trade it? Would they have to make the pick first? Are we talking about like a draft day trade, or could they potentially trade it before?
Procedurally, they have to officially make it, but like, you know, the day before, a week heading into it, they can come into an agreement that, hey, you know, assuming this player is available, we want you to pick that player, and then you're going to trade him to us. So then like they can agree to it ahead of time, and then they can only officially trade it like after the first round ends.
Copy that. Once again, we are talking to Yossi Goslin. Check him out on the Third Apron newsletter on Substack. You could also follow him on Twitter at Yossi Goslin NBA. Does great work breaking down the salary cap as well as reacting to NBA front office transactions and breaks this thing down, man. Does the numbers and gives you the analysis. Check out our guy Yossi, man. All right, let's get to the phones here. What the people got to say. Let's get to the Knicks fix. You up? Go ahead.
CP, Yossi, what up, fellas?
How you doing?
Hey.
Yo, man, I remember CP, there was a show with CK and Alex 10 nights ago when we played against Orlando. And I was like, the first thing I said was that, yo, the more we lose, the more the Bucks lose, the more we lose on the road, the more the chat is going to is the topic about Giannis. I said it last night, too. I said it like, watch, Giannis. The problem is, man, I don't want to include OG in the trade, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Wendy said earlier today that the Bucks are not expected to open up a Giannis sweepstakes to the entire league. He said that on NBA today. He said Giannis will get to pick a team, and Milwaukee would try their best to get a trade done with this preferred team. Now, Giannis ain't dumb, man. Like, he knows if he goes to the Knicks, he wants to play on a roster that's not depleted. Or
that's right. He don't want Milwaukee again. He don't want to go from Milwaukee to Milwaukee. You know,
say again?
I said he don't want to go from Milwaukee to Milwaukee. I mean, the heroes out here are very nice. You know, I'm very into my Greek food. But, I mean, come on, bro. If he's going to come in here and half the roster's depleted, what's the point?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to leave out with this because I know there's a bunch of guys who want to talk about it. But, man, I mean, he can go to a depleted team. If he goes in and tells Horst that, yo, trade me to the Knicks, but don't include OG in that package, then you got something really cooking. Let's see what happens. Let's see how Cat plays tonight.
Well, if I'm John Horst, I'm going to be like, well, guarantee me a quarter of your salary, because if I'm making that deal, I'm for sure packing my bags with you. So, you know, that's it, man. That's career suicide. But you just never know. Giannis is holding the gun, and we'll see if the Bucks blink.
No, and I feel like he probably, you know, now Giannis has been in the league for a while now. I'm sure he's starting to get a grasp of like what's a good organization versus like what's a mid-tier organization. And I don't think the Bucks have been like a top-tier organization. And now I'm sure he's looking at the Knicks thinking, wow, this is a great place. I feel like if I go there, I'm confident they'll be able to keep a competitive team around me for the rest of my career.
For sure. Shout out to I got another soundbite clash with my bang soundbite. Shout out to Knicks Ireland franchise channel member #1 on the chat leaderboard. Says $10 super chat. Says Ireland in the house. Good to be back on live and not replay. Cat never going to change his ways. It's time to bring him to the Mecca. All right, so he's ready, man. Hella high water. He wants Giannis on the Knicks. Okay. No problem, man. This is the show to talk about it. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Hooper, you up next. Hooper, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo.
How you feeling?
Hey, listen, the trade that Yogi just said for the 3 team, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yossi, sir.
Yeah, Yoshi. Yeah,
Yeah.
I take him. I take Giannis in that. Giannis will cover up a lot more. Will be better defensively when it comes to just overall being a better player than Cat.
Okay. All right.
I say we take it. I say do the trade. Whatever it takes, get him here.
All right. Let's go. Let's go, man. That's Hooper in here. Shout out to Hooper. LD, go ahead and unmute your mic. LD.
Yo, it's Gucci.
How you feel, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. We had this conversation before the season even started, and I said we pulled the trigger. Giannis wants to be a Knick because in American sports, there are currently 2 teams that have the most important rings to win. The New York Knicks and the Dallas Cowboys. Giannis knows if I win a ring with the Knicks, I climb multiple steps into the all-time list automatically. You go to the Lakers, you're just another big that went to the Lakers. OKC's ring, you might as well just stay with the Bucks. That Knicks ring is what legacy chasers are now chasing. Before, we were the laughingstock. Now, you win that Knicks ring, it's legend status times 10. He knows that. That's why he wants to come here. And I've said it before. The gentleman, Knicks fix, much blessings. If OG needs to go, I will help OG pack his bags. I love the dude, but we're talking about Giannis. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I would not want to lose OG either, but I mean, if it's Giannis coming this way, you just you don't want to deplete the roster, as everybody said. That makes a lot of sense. And in the new CBA, if you really want to investigate how trades are actually working, it doesn't really favor the team with the superstar going somewhere where he wants to win. If you look at even the Luka trade happened because of this new second apron. Because the Mavs first didn't want to trade him to, they didn't want to pay him the money that they were going to have to pay him. But also, prior to this, you're not getting Luka Doncic for AD. You're not really getting KD for Jalen Green. You're not getting Cat for Julius Randle. So the second apron has kind of suppressed a lot of the value of superstars in trades, especially if it's somebody like Giannis who has said, I want to go to this team. Any other team taking the risk, ask Giannis why he wants to come to the Knicks. It's that ring. If your ring is not as valuable as the Knicks, he's not coming to your franchise. You might as well just let it go. That's where I'll leave it at.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, LD on the Discord. Rate that call in the chat. A 1 being trash, 5 being facts. That's what we do here. If you guys are new in the chat, leave us a hashtag new. And rate that call. Are you with LD? Is it fire? Is it tomatoes? Let us know in the chat so we can, sort things out, man. We got to get to the bottom of this. What is going to happen? Is the Greek Freak coming to the Knicks? Sounds like it really sounds like a Hail Mary, man. But you know what? Go ahead.
I've got a question for you, CP, where let's say the Knicks do end up trading Cat and OG for Giannis and like one other forward, not necessarily Dylan Brooks.
Kuzma? Are you saying in like a 3-team?
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, like, let's say they bring in Giannis for Cat and OG, and they bring in another forward. They don't bring back a new center. Mm-hmm. What do you think would be your closing lineup, your starting and closing lineup? Because the only concern I've got is the Mitch Giannis pairing. Yeah. Are you concerned about that?
Well, I've been getting a little bit more concerned about Mitch as the time goes on, man. He looks very slow out there. He looks a little bit labored. I don't know if the ankle is some sort of chronic thing that he's dealing with, and they're not really mentioning it, but he's looking very slow out there. He can get his boards, but defensively, guys are challenging him. They're beating him to the rim. So I'm not even sure. I'll tell you right now, as of today, who would be closing? It would be Giannis at the 5. It would be Josh Hart at the 4. It would be Brunson, McCall, and, you throw that third forward if he's worth anything, most likely that. So, it would be that situation. Now, I don't know if Deuce is going to be here. I hope he is. But the Mitch thing right now, he's looking more situational than must close. I'd loved him in the closing spot, and maybe he does at some points, but I'm with you. Yeah, and from a spacing standpoint and things of that nature, it may not make sense. It may get clunky, but if you give me Giannis, who I know can protect the rim and is going to be able to block shots, and we can play faster and be more athletic, I'll be fine with that, depending on who we're getting to replace OG with. That's more the issue than who closes.
So you like your chances more with a Brunson, McHale, Hart, forward X.
That other forward has to be able to shoot, though. That other forward has to be able to shoot. That other forward has to be able to shoot. We need a knockdown shooter. Knockdown.
Let's say, okay, let's just say it is a Dylan Brooks type. Like if
Yeah.
are you like that lineup more now against OKC versus what the Knicks have right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting because like it's just it'll be. I feel like if the Knicks do bring Giannis, it feels like he's gonna have to play a lot of five.
Probably.
Unless they bring in some big man that
Yeah.
is going to be able that fits well, and that's just going to be tough to pull off as well. If you're already trading for Giannis, no one's just going to gift you a 3-and-D center at the same time.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'm trading for championship pedigree, reliability, and trust in a big spot. And Carl, we had this debate about Towns yesterday. And, Brunson can't do everything. And Brunson had an off night. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens every once in a while. But I'm talking about in a big spot, in the playoffs. Who are you going to trust to go get it done for you on both ends? It's not just offense where Towns shines. That's great. But defensively, we got to lock in and get stops too. So,
yeah.
Again, depending on who you're going to replace OG with, hopefully that's a good shooter. Because if you're going to put Brunson McHale, you're going to put Josh, you're going to put Giannis, you want to need somebody who, you can't leave this guy open. He's going to kill us, from three. So
yeah,
that's interesting. But, as I was saying, it's one of those things, man, where it's like, despite the fact that it feels like a Hail Mary, it also feels inevitable as well for some reason, man. I was telling my lady this just now. Like, I've never looked at a trade like this in that way, where it just seems like they're a long shot, but it still might happen.
And I'll say this: the fact that the Knicks are in this situation where they could potentially get Giannis really just encapsulate how well managed they've been, just from drafting. Like, they've had the best free agency signings of the past 5 years between iHeart, Dante, Randall. Like, if you're trading Cat and OG for Giannis, that means you're basically turned IQ, RJ, Randall, and DiVincenzo for Giannis. Two of those guys were really great draft picks. Two of those guys were great free agent signings. That's just a really good turnaround for those guys.
Now that you say that, this is one of the last questions I want to leave you with, because people on Twitter are saying this, because I said, look, he's on this thing. He's been patient with this thing, and they're definitely doing the dance. They've been doing the dance. But then people say well, why did you trade all the picks for Mikal Bridges? What do you think, man? Because again, like when we're talking about the aprons, the salary slot, the player of that potential, my thing has always been you can't wait around for these things, because you don't know.
Yeah. I am still critical to this day of that negotiation. I like 5 first round. Just let's put aside how Mikal played last year. It was an adjustment for him. Now he's playing really well for the Knicks. His defense is getting back to the levels he had in Phoenix. So, if this is who he's going to be consistently, then I don't think the Knicks are really going to think about it. But at the same time, I do think that was a lot of first-round picks. Yes, they identified the right player. They brought him in. They paid a good price for him. But, you couldn't maybe keep 1 first-round pick? That could help a long way right now towards bringing in an extra rotation player, an extra guard, or maybe towards inching a little closer to a potential Giannis deal. So I'm with you, though, at the same time. They were on the come up. They had to do something, and you can't control who's available. And we might be looking back at this in a couple months, and Giannis is on a different team, and you might be thinking, oh, well, we never should have done these trades. But you can't predict that 2 years ago. We couldn't have known that Giannis was finally going to ask 2 years later than he probably should have that, oh, now I want to be a Knick. I did a whole video on this when I started when I started Third Apron. I did a whole video. I'm like, okay, yeah, do Randall, assuming they could have kept Isaiah Hartenstein, because I really like the idea of pairing Giannis with Hartenstein. Unfortunately, that couldn't have happened. But assuming they could have kept him, I really love the idea of trading Randall, I guess Mitchell Robinson. But then you have all those first-round picks. Yeah. You bring in Giannis, pair him with iHeart, keep Dante, you got Brunson and OG, and Hart off the bench. That was my vision of how the Knicks should have done it. But he didn't ask for a trade back then, so it couldn't have happened.
Good stuff, man. Shout out to, we got another super chat in the building here. NYC94, salute to you. $5 super chat. He says Rose will do it. He's down to his last legendary move. Okay, so he's saying in Leon we trust. Hey, I've been trusting Leon, for the longest, man. He's done a fantastic job, and I just feel like something's cooking here. And what was the Chom's report that by Tuesday things should be settled?
No, he said in 2 weeks, I think.
2 weeks?
But there is an update I'm seeing.
Okay, where?
Do you know about Dallas Hoops Journal?
No, I don't know. Let's see what they're about.
They're like they're pretty reputable on some things.
Okay.
And like I know my guy Grant Afset, he reports on there. But is a different reporter for them. He's saying that the Knicks and Spurs are expected to aggressively pursue Giannis.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline.
Okay.
Which, it's pretty standard. Like I think everyone, like when you're looking at who's gonna be the potential top team to pursue Giannis, the Spurs automatically jump out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just something to put out there. I just don't know how serious the Bucks are right now. That's what I really want to know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, from the Knicks' perspective, that's there. Like we've certainly known that. But the Spurs, they've always been the team that I've been looking at. Like you're looking at Wemby, how he's playing, his durability. Like you can't wait around with him. You got to go try to win a championship ASAP with this guy because you just don't know how at 7'5" how long he's going to hold up playing at the NBA level. You just don't even know. So.
Let me say this about the Spurs, where Fox asked for a trade specifically to them, and they went for him. They didn't really give up anything to bring in Fox, but kind of like, you can't really control who you're going to get, who's available, who wants to come to you. Now, in hindsight, they didn't know they were going to get the Dylan Harper pick. I'm sure they would have done things differently, but like at that time, it just made sense to do that trade at that price. I think there's going to be more players interested in joining the Spurs, wanting to play with Wemby. And if Giannis is one of them, or maybe Lauri Markkanen, like I think that those types of players is like who you want to pair Wemby with right now, based on the rest of the roster construction. The Spurs can get something done. They've got enough salaries. They don't have those apron restrictions, so they can actually help the Bucks save money. Not that they need to, but they don't have to like do dollar for dollar. And they've got like 4 draft picks they can trade right now. They're not like the nicest draft picks, but it's pretty good quantity. They've got Carter Bryant, recent draft pick. Maybe Harper could be on the table, or Castle. Like I imagine the Bucks are gonna like try to push for one of those guys, and I'm sure the Spurs are gonna try to give up everything but everything else. But that's just something I'd be cautious about if I'm a Knicks fan, that if Giannis is open to going to a team like the Spurs who has the assets, I think they'd be able to get something done like pretty easily.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. All right. We're going to take one more call. But before I do, shout out to John Ferry on the Facebook. Let's react to this real quick. He says, this is my mock trade. Knicks get Giannis. Bucks get OG Mitch Shamet. This gives the Bucks a good player who's under control and build around, plus Turner at the center. It gives them 2 expiring deals, and they will have a good pick this year. We can start Josh at the 3. We don't need to take back a big contract to do this. Cat doesn't have an inside game, so they can play next to each other. This works for everyone unless someone is giving them $50 billion in expiring contracts this year. All right, so he's trying to pull off the ultimate fleece. All right, so he's going OG Mitch Shamet and nothing else.
I mean, if the Knicks can do that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But no, unfortunately, I think after, we've been discussing this for an hour, I think we're kind of in agreement. Yeah. Unfortunately, one of OG or Mikel's probably going to have to be included in addition to Cat. Yeah, no, I don't think Nico works on the Bucks right now.
Yeah,
so
no 2K trades. No 2K trades, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's get to Nick Rinaldi on the Discord. Nick Rinaldi, go ahead with your question or comment. Do we have Nick Rinaldi going once? Okay. What does it say? Okay, doesn't look like, it says he's playing Rune Light. Okay, I don't never heard of it. It seems like he's busy getting to his game. All right, so you go ahead and get your game on. Call back during the Charlotte game, post-game live at 10 o'clock tonight. Knicks back at home against the Charlotte Hornets, looking to get back on track. Second night of a back-to-back. Let us know your thoughts, man. Let us know your thoughts on this. Where will this thing end? Giannis, they told me, man, CP, we got to do a social media investigation. I said, that's for the birds. I'm not really into that. And here we go. Now they're meeting. So I guess, the breakup is on the way if he's, scrubbing his social media and things of that nature. I guess I should have taken it a little more seriously. I apologize to you people. Okay? All right, there we go. Now, definitely want to shout out one of our sponsors of today's show. And shout out to our guys at Doer, man. Shout out to our guys at Doer. Make sure you guys check them out, man. Shopdoer.com is where you want to go, especially as you guys are shopping for holiday gifts, man. I told you guys about Doer. Keeps me laced, keeps me well dressed, especially during these times, man, because I got this going on. Might have to head to the garden for the game. Might have to go to a watch party. So I'm always looking for a good pair of jeans that is going to keep me good and that can meet my active lifestyle, man. And that is where our guys at Shop Doer come into play. They're the most comfortable, durable pants I've worn in a long time, man. They stretch, they breathe, they move with you, and somehow they still look clean enough for any fit. You can literally feel the quality. That is how perfect of a holiday gift for anybody who wants to look good and stay active, man. Doer's got jeans, they have joggers, tees, everything built with performance fabric that lasts. So tap in for the holidays. Head to shopdoer.com and upgrade your wardrobe. Trust me, once you try Doer, you're not gonna go back, man. So once again, you go to shopdoer.com/KFTV for 15% off your order. All right, Yossi, man, what else you got cooking for the rest of the week, man?
So I just posted something earlier this week on the Clippers and that whole train wreck, and that is before the whole Chris Paul thing. It's such a weird situation.
Super weird.
I don't know if you saw that Chris Haynes tweet when Chris Paul, Ty Lue and the organization basically told Chris Paul, hey, you're a negative presence for the organization to the team.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul basically asked, well, can you elaborate on that? And can we meet and talk about this? And Ty Lue's like, no.
No.
Like, what?
Bad, bro.
So everyone check out my Substack Third Apron. I wrote about that. I'm going to write something about the Rockets and if they should try to do a trade, not for Giannis, but like if they should do something with that Fred VanVleet contract, bring in another guy. Cause I kind of feel like they have a shot, not like a great chances, but like a better shot than just about anyone else in the league to potentially take down OKC just with that roster construction. I think they match up pretty well. And follow also, it's basically Third Apron Media. I've got my podcast with my partner, Sam Quinn. We are gonna probably go live in a couple hours and get more deeper about the Giannis market. We'll get into all the other teams that could potentially make a run. We'll throw in full fake trades in detail with down to the pick and the protection. We get into the nitty gritty when we do our fake transaction. So that's Third Apron. You can we'll do it live on YouTube. You can subscribe wherever you get podcasts. We'll probably go live in a couple hours to discuss.
Okay. There we go, man. So, guy Yossi Goslin, you know where to find him, man. Does the great work, does the damn thing. Yossi, great job as usual, man. We'll connect. Hey, hopefully, maybe there's going to be some breaking news or something down the road. We'll see, man.
Listen, man, I feel something too. You're saying you feel like something's brewing. I feel that too. I'm sure we'll be in touch for some more discussion.
There it is, man. We'll chop it up. Great job as usual. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to my guy Yossi, man. Does a great job. And yeah, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. Just when I thought I was going to get ready for this game, we did a show earlier on the NBA report. We talked about CP3. Some of you guys were asking, are the Knicks going to go after him? I don't see him coming back east. Anything's possible as he has a relationship with Leon and Wes. I don't see him coming back east. Since he's been at OKC, he's gone. He's done San Antonio. He's done the Clippers. He's done the Warriors. So I don't think he's going to come back east, man. His whole point in staying out west was to be closer to his kids. So I have a hard time believing that. Plus, he's washed, and this is what happens when you have washed stars. Nobody ever leaves this game gracefully. Maybe Kobe did, like great Black Mamba. Was that the last player who, left his team on his terms, so to speak? Jordan certainly did, even though the Wizards thing was kind of like, a tour, if you will. I guess Jordan kind of did. At that point, he was kind of just having fun with it. But it never typically ends well. We saw it in this time with Jeter. Eli. Remember when Eli got benched with Geno Smith with the Giants? Like, it never ends well, man. So, this is just kind of what happens when the guy's at the end of his rope. But the Clippers are a complete mess. But that's their problem. And over here, it's always orange and blue skies, man. So, great show, everybody. We'll see you guys at 10 o'clock for Post-Game Live. Let us know what you think, man. Never a dull moment in the Knickverse. But as usual, if anything goes down, I got you covered, man. Like, share, and subscribe is all that I ask. The number one show for the fans by the fans. We out of here, man. Head over to KnicksFanTV.com. Get your holiday merch as well. See you guys later, man. Peace.